All right, so we're now recording, and I'm going to bring up our Art Together PowerPoint. Okay, so today we're going to be making rolled paper pictures, and you'll definitely get a sense of what that is once we sort of get into the project a little bit more. So here is just an example from our collection. This is a really interesting image called Karma Juggler. It's from the portfolio 6x4 by the artist Do Hosa. I've never actually seen this print in person, but it kind of gives you a good idea of the types of the types of paperwork that we're trying to go for today. So you can see all these different sized spirals. And like the whole picture is made up of these circles. So that's sort of the basic idea of what we're trying to do with today's project. The rolling of the paper does get a little bit time consuming. So you might want to keep that in mind. Making something like this would probably take all day. I know Yasmin and I have both been rolling paper for quite a while. So this is just, an example of what you could do. And then we have this other image. It's an oil on panel painting called The Cool Days of Early Spring by Helen Miranda Wilson. And the colors of this are just really vibrant, really exciting colors, and might give you a little bit of inspiration for your project if you wanted to do concentric circles with different colors of your construction paper. That's a possibility as well. If you wanted to put some crayon or some marker into your project, that works too. But really the possibilities are endless. So these first two images that we looked at really focus on the idea of circles and spirals and using those to create an image. But you don't have to stick with just that. You could also arrange your circles or your rolled pieces of paper, which I know will make more sense once Yasmin shows us what we're doing. But you could use them to create a pattern. This is one of my favorite paintings in the collection. It's an acrylic painting called Squaring the Red, and it's all these different squares arranged almost in like an optical illusion. It kind of makes me dizzy if I look at it for too long, but it would be really neat to make, a similar sort of pattern to this out of your paper. It's something I might attempt on a smaller scale, but we'll see. And then this last image, this is our Mosaic stained glass window. It used to be on view in the lobby of the museum. And it gives you another idea for this project. Since rolling the paper does take a little bit of time, if you would rather just arrange your pieces, in little squares like an actual mosaic, this might be something that you could do. You could see sort of this rainbow effect here in the middle of the window. There's also these flowers or some circles. So there's really a lot of possibilities depending on, what colors of paper you choose, how you choose to roll them. You can make them in different sizes. If you'd rather cut them, that's fine too. So I hope that these images gave you just a little bit of a sense of the types of projects you could create today. Now for this project, you're going to need 4 to 5 colors of construction paper. I just chose the primary colors and green. And I had 2 sheets of each color. I'm sure Yasmin has probably about the same sort of arrangement. You'll need scissors, a pencil, glue stick or tape, and liquid glue. Now the liquid glue is separate from the glue stick or the tape because we're using them for different things. So the tape or glue stick, those are interchangeable. So if you are just about ready, if you have all your stuff, I'll go ahead and turn and turn it over to Yasmin.
Hi, everybody. Good morning and Happy New Year. I'm super glad that you're here joining us this morning. I wanted to show you one of my previous works over here. This is one of the examples that I did for this project. As you can see, it's made up of a lot of different little pieces of rolled up paper. And one of the things that I was really inspired by when I did this was mosaics. And I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. So I'm actually going to turn it over to my little workstation. So just give me one quick second. Okay. Let's see. I hope everyone can hear me. Right, so this is my little workspace and I have a background paper and I have some colors. I've actually cut some strips of paper already that I'm going to show you how I rolled up. I also have some pre-rolled pieces of paper right here as well. And this is how I get started. So a couple things about this project. It is very time consuming. Rolling up these pieces of paper actually took a really long time. So I'm going to give you a couple alternatives in case rolling up either is just too time consuming or that's just not the way you wanted to take this project. One of the things that you can also do to do this mosaic would be to cut squares of different colors and then use those squares to create your mosaic from there. So you could build it just based on squares, kind of like the stained glass window example that Claire had, something like that. And then another way that you can do this, hypothetically, if you did not have colored paper, let's say you just had white paper, you can use marker or colored pencil or anything, crayons even, to color your paper into different colors and then cut it and then roll it up. That way you can create the different colors that you might not have at home. So with that in mind, let's see. Today my background paper is actually going to be blue. I decided to change it up just a little bit. And before I get started, I just want to bring this back into the picture. One of the things that I want to focus on, and I know it's a little difficult to see, is if you take a look at my previous work over here, you can see that certain little roll-ups are actually different heights. And ideally what this is meant to do is it creates almost a texture in the, a texture effect on the drawing so that you can see different heights. Also, I used a white background paper. You can use a different color. This on the edge was supposed to represent a pattern. So you can see I started purple, yellow, purple, and that was just an attempt to show a pattern. So a couple sessions ago, we actually all did turtles. Turtles was a big subject matter that we did a couple of weeks ago, months ago, I'm sorry. So I was actually inspired by that and I was gonna do a turtle. And I wanna sketch it out just a little bit first on my paper so that I can use it as a guide when I roll up my pieces of paper and I know how much paper I need, how much paper I'm missing. So that'll be fun to do. And then I'm going to demonstrate how I'm going to roll up the paper. So I'm going to start with brown. There are a couple different ways you could do this. You could just start rolling it up as normal like this, or you could use a pencil to help guide you. And this might be a little easier for some. So you roll it up on your pencil and you can roll it up the entire way, or you could just use it as a guide for the beginning. And then what I do is, this is where my glue stick or tape comes in. So I prefer to use the glue, although tape might be a little bit quicker. And basically this is what I rolled up. You could tape this little edge so it holds it, or how I'm gonna do it is I'm actually gonna use my glue stick on the inside and glue it shut like this. And then there's one. So I know this is a little bit time consuming and I apologize in advance, but I thought this was a really cool, fun project despite the time constraints. Don't feel pressured to finish your project within the time limit of this class. You can always work on it afterwards or another day. The important thing is that now you know how to do it and what it would take to complete it. The reason why we have two different types of glues is because when you go to glue these rolls onto your background, it's actually easier using liquid glue because then you can spread it over an area and just place your roll-ups in those areas and it just glues a lot better, whereas the glue stick might not glue as well to that because these have different heights. It's just easier with the liquid glue, I've found. So the time consuming thing for our class today is actually going to be rolling up these pieces of paper. I'm doing browns right now, but I'm also going to have some greens and some whites for my turtle. And you will see this in just a second. After I put the glue stick on, I sometimes hold it for a second or two just to make sure it's sticking. That way you know it's not gonna open up. In the middle, I'm gonna do a couple greens. If you don't have a pencil ready, you can use a pen or a paintbrush or anything as the rolling method for your roll-ups. And again, if this gets too time consuming or it's just a little tough to do, which it is, feel free to cut the paper strips into squares or circles and then use them as their own mosaic pieces. That's definitely an option as well. Hope everyone had a great New Year's. Ours was quiet. Our dogs were home and we were just hanging out.
Anybody have any questions? How are you doing? You can put a thumbs up in your video or in the chat. Just want to make sure you're all still with us. I know it was a lot of information.
Yeah.
You can also unmute yourself and chat with us if you'd like. Up to you. Oh, good. We got a thumbs up. Okay, perfect.
Good. So yeah, one of the things that I noted when I was doing some of my examples was just how time consuming it was rolling these up. And it did take a very long time, but it was actually quite peaceful to do. I actually really enjoyed it. I might use some of the oranges that I have.
And I think too, like, it's really, I think the time spent doing the rolling is really well worth it. You get a really neat end product. So like Yasmin was saying, if you don't finish it during this portion of the class, or if you want to go back to it at another point in time, you're more than welcome to. It's just, these little spirals create such a cool effect. when they're all put together.
That's really true. One of the other things that I noted while I was doing these, so if you loosen it up a little bit, you can create a wider spiral than leaving it sort of tightly wound like on the pencil. As you can see, they're not perfectly sized. They're all a little bit different, which I think gives it a cool effect. I don't particularly want them to be uniform. I like that they're a little more organic, but that's entirely up to you and how you want to glue it once it's wound up. And then once you have a certain number of these roll-ups, you can start planning out what you're going to make. So for example, I know it's a little faint to see, but my turtle's drawn on here, and this one came undone. I didn't hold it enough. Let's see if I can do that now. Okay, all right. So once you have a certain number, you can start planning out where they're going to go on your drawing. And what I did was I planned everything out in terms of placement, and then I would move certain pieces off, put my liquid glue down, and then just replace it right in its location. That way I wasn't going to lose the spot that I chose for it.
Well, and I think being able to sort of play around with these spirals before you actually glue them down into your final project is really helpful, because, I mean, I like to change my mind frequently. I'll often start a project one way and then take it in a whole other direction. So this allows you that creative freedom to, switch gears quickly if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you decide like, oh, I don't really know how I feel about the way these colors are laid out. I don't know if I like the shape that I'm making. Maybe I want to try something else. You have the freedom to be able to move them around in any way you want and sort of work on this living project as it were, until you glue them down into something you're really happy with. So don't be afraid to, keep changing them up, change them around or anything. I know I was at my parents' house doing some of these roll-ups, and my dad wandered in and was like, "Oh, what are you doing? That's going to take a really long time. Let me do half of it." So he would do the rolling and I would do the taping. And it was just like a fun little moment. He likes to get excited about these cool work projects. So parents, making a little assembly line of rolling paper with your kids, that's also a good way to do it. I found it really helpful.
Absolutely. Plus, I came in knowing I wanted to do a turtle as my project. If you have not yet decided, that is 100% okay. But that's what's fun about playing with these little paper roll-ups. You can fiddle around with them, sort of test them out in different places on your paper, and maybe an idea will come to you that way. Maybe you'll be inspired by something that you see once you lay it out. So don't be afraid to just test out different colors and see how they play on your paper. Again, I chose a blue background. You can choose different color backgrounds, and that can play a role in that as well. And then don't forget, if you're using a glue stick to glue these together, don't forget to hold it for a couple seconds afterwards, just to make sure it stays in its place, because some of mine have come undone, I think because I wasn't holding it for long enough. Do a couple greens. So my plan with the green and the orange was actually to do some sort of pattern on the turtle's back to show different depths and different colors and things. Normally some turtles have some really cool patterns on their back, so that's kind of what I'm trying to emulate here. And they might not be the perfect color, but I think it'll make it more fun and vibrant and stick up off the page. Also, you'll note the more of these rolling up papers that you do, the better you'll be at it. So I'm doing these a little fast because I've done so many at this point that I've become kind of a pro, but you'll find that for the first few, I definitely struggled with the best way to sort of hold things and the best way to roll them up. So you'll probably have a similar experience. So the more of these that you roll up, the better at it you'll be. So don't feel discouraged if you're struggling in the beginning.
I'm curious, has anybody ever made anything like this before? I know this was my first time. Like, I never even thought about this as a project. But if you do a quick Google search, like, they show up everywhere. People are like really into this, you know, paper rolling, and I guess paper quilling is becoming really big now.
Yes.
Like, there's whole aisles of paper quilling tools, you know, at craft stores and stuff. It's just, I think one of those quarantine hobbies that you can develop.
Is that the official term? Is it considered paper quilling, what we're doing?
I mean, I would think like on a very basic level.
Okay.
But they have like such cool tools where you can get like angles and these really awesome curly cues, and I think so there's cool. Probably specific paper. I don't know. I haven't really investigated, but yeah, just the amount of, I would say, art that you can make just with paper. It never occurred to me before, the variety of projects.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I'm probably going to look into this paper quilling once this class is over. I think that's a really cool thing. And this definitely probably will become one of my new quarantine hobbies.
Well, and it's neat because, I mean, it's not terribly messy. You know, yes. It's not like painting where you have water or inks or, you know, paint everywhere. It's something you can do in a carpeted room. But I mean, I'm sure there's like all kinds of like paper scraps and stuff that fall out after, you know, you're cutting, but it's a pretty clean project, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
I agree. So just want to share with you guys one of the things that I tested out. I didn't particularly like how it came out for my project, but it's something that you can think about. So this is actually the result of two different colors rolled up together. This is red and blue rolled up together. And I was hoping.
Can you show us a little closer?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, there we go. Other way. Awesome. So this is red and blue, of course, red and blue rolled up together. And I was hoping it would give somewhat of a purple effect, but that didn't end up being the case. It just did kind of end up looking like red rolled into blue. But I think I just need to maybe do it in a different way, or maybe, I don't know. I did have purple paper, so at the end of the day, I didn't need it that way, but it was a fun experiment to try. It just didn't suit with the project that I was personally working on at the time. but it might be fun depending on what you guys decide to create for yourselves. Maybe that could be an interesting thing to try. Even just to see how it turns out with different colors. I probably should have made my turtle a little bit smaller because it's going to require a lot of rolling up, but that's okay. I hope you guys can get somewhat of a sense of what I'm trying to do, at least on my project. And hopefully that'll give you guys some idea of what you could do with yours. But yeah, so this is the shape of the body of my turtle. And then I'm going to have obviously 4 legs and a head, but I just haven't quite gotten the number of roll-ups yet that I need for it. If you guys are continuing this project after our class is over, I've also found that it helps if you just turn on some music or maybe a TV show or something as you're rolling, and it helps pass the time. It doesn't seem as tedious that way because it can be a little bit of a long process. That's what I did when I was working on my example. One of the things you can also do, and I think I might end up doing this for my project, if you find it's a little time consuming and you wanted to at least have something somewhat finished, I might just do an outline of the body of the turtle in the brown and maybe a couple patterns on the inside, and then that will be enough, at least for now, so you guys get a sense of what I'm trying to do.
We'd love to hear what you all are working on. If you want to unmute and tell us or type it in the chat, I'm excited to hear what you guys have come up with for your own projects.
I'm doing a hot air balloon.
Oh, that's such a cool idea.
I never thought of that, but it makes a lot of sense, and I bet it'll look really neat.
Absolutely.
Someone else is making a garden. Very fun. Oh, a first aid kit. That's my friend
That
Rachel.
sounds really cool.
Rachel, that's very clever. You guys are a creative bunch. I am impressed. Ooh, a skyscraper. That's fun too.
Agreed. I can't wait to see some of
I'm
these.
making plus signs.
If you guys want to share them later. A plus sign?
Excellent. Oh, I'm so excited. These are way better ideas than anything I ever thought of for this project. It's like, it's amazing when you get a group of people together, just what everyone comes up with. It's just, oh, it's so neat.
Ooh, this one needs- Okay. I'm almost, I think this is the last strip of brown that I have cut. I'm probably gonna have to cut more because I'm gonna still need a few more pieces. So I'll do that in a second. Let me see if I can get more brown paper. I normally don't measure out the spacing for my strips of paper, mainly because I enjoy when it's different heights and different widths. I think it looks really neat on the paper. But if you want it to be more precise, that's definitely an option as well.
I haven't done any measuring either. What I tried to do to save time was cut multiple pieces of paper at a time, and that did not work well for me because like the paper started to separate sort of toward the top, and then my strips of paper were all wonky and I had to go fix them anyway. But if you have managed to do multiple pieces at once, good for you. That is excellent. Ooh, we have someone making a sushi roll. Oh, that's fun.
That sounds awesome.
That's really clever. Love it.
Go and go. Okay.
It's definitely a quieter project, so thanks for hanging in with our long periods of silence, everyone. We appreciate that.
I'm sorry, you guys.
No.
I didn't want to fill it with just me telling you stories. So
no, it becomes like really meditative and you just sort of get into the zone.
It definitely does. And that's definitely what I found when I did my example project as well. Rolling up, I just sat there and I was just rolling up a bunch of pieces of paper, and it was very pensive time. I got to sort of just think and plan what my project was going to be. I actually really enjoyed it. But hopefully if you guys are home and you have family and you can talk with them while you're doing it. That also helps pass the time as well.
Yes,
as you're
exactly.
rolling, definitely having a conversation. That's definitely an option. I think I probably will not be done with my turtle, but I'm hoping that by 11, you guys will at least have more of a sense of what I was trying to do.
Sarah wanted to show you her project.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow.
Let me spotlight that so we can see it. Oh, very cool. Great
That's
job,
awesome.
Sarah. I'm sure there's lots of good first aid tools in there. And I'm sure we needed them last year. Hopefully we won't need them this year, but that looks great.
It does.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Do you think you'll be working on a follow-up project to the first aid kit?
Undecided at the current moment.
That's valid. That's 100% fair.
Yeah, and like while Yasmin and I are here till 11, you know, if anyone's got to jump off because you've got somewhere else to be, or you're tired of rolling paper, which we get.
Oh no!
You're welcome to head out at any point. As we mentioned at the beginning, the video will be available on our Zimmerli at Home website. So if you want to see the final project or rewatch it at another point in time, you're welcome to. I'll also be posting some instructions with a different example. Again, to Zimmerli at Home if you'd like to check that out. But we'll be here till 11, so feel free to keep hanging out with us. We are excited to see your projects.
Yes.
Oh, a rainbow and a plus sign. Oh, very nice. I'm excited to see that rainbow. I'm sure it'll look really, really excellent.
I just accidentally knocked over all of my roll-ups that I had carefully arranged, so I had to redesign them. Yeah.
Kind of like dominoes in a way.
Yes. Yeah. They're so light, so they don't, unless you're going to glue them down, they don't stay very well in place.
So now for the gluing down portion, like how thick of a layer of glue would you recommend?
So
obviously,
actually,
like we don't want to glop it on.
Right. So actually, if give me 2 seconds, I'm going to finish gluing this roll up. I think the back of my turtle is actually finished. So I will start gluing that down and I'll demonstrate at least how I glued it.
Okay.
And hopefully that'll better answer your question in a more, so you could actually see how I did it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because I tend to be a little heavy-handed with the glue, and I don't want my paper to like curl or get all soaked and gross.
I mean, I also tend to be a little heavy-handed, but I mean, at least from my example, it didn't backfire on me. So.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So here's what I at least have done. So for example, if I'm going to glue these 3 right there, I put a little bit of glue and then I almost use the tip of my glue to spread it. So even though it looks like there's a lot, it's actually a pretty thin layer. And then I just place it on top. And I know it looks like there's just extra glue, but it will dry and it'll be clear.
Right. So then when you hang them up, they definitely won't fall off.
Exactly. And that's good. One of the things that I was really impressed about my example. It is sturdy and I did it at least 3 weeks ago and it's still hanging in there. So I have good feeling about it.
Oh, excellent.
So usually also what this means is the tip of my liquid glue gets a little messy. What I did was I just grabbed like a paper towel or something. And when I was done using it, I just cleaned it off so it wouldn't just be gunky, but that's what I found to have worked for me. I'm gonna put a little bit more in there.
Yeah, no, that's important because when you go to try to use your bottle of glue again, if it's not clean, it'll give you trouble.
It will. So I found that cleaning it afterwards did the trick for me. So this little row right here is all glued down. And I'm going to work now on this side. So as you can see, like I was telling you guys earlier, because I've already laid out kind of the design that I want, I only move a few pieces at a time, glue it, put the glue down, glue them there, and then work on the next section. That way I don't completely lose the order that I wanted those pieces to go in. And I did the same method as when we glue our roll-ups. I just hold them, press them down to make sure that they're really sticking in there. And because they're different heights too, it definitely helps to press them down so that they really get caught in the glue. So now, oh, see, that one didn't take to the glue. Okay. And something else too, if you guys are concerned about whether or not it glued down, you can always test it a little bit afterwards, after maybe it's ideally at least started to dry. Give it a test push more or less to test if it really is glued down. And then if it's not, just move it and put a little bit more glue, and that should hopefully do the trick. Little piece. So these, see, this one does not want to stay in there. Let me see. Once it really sticks though, it's pretty sturdy. I think because the construction paper is absorbent. I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that because I think construction paper is kind of absorbent, it really retains that glue. It's not gonna just slide off.
True. I was thinking if any of you happen to have a hot glue gun at home, that might be a good option as well, as long as a grown-up does it. It might get a little bit stringy and you have to work pretty quickly, but it would definitely dry faster if that's something that would be useful for you. That's another possibility. Or double-sided tape, I guess, could work too.
Yeah, but you definitely have to press it down on double-sided tape just to make sure that it really sticks to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think glue is the way to go. Any type of glue.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, these are a little tricky once you get started gluing them so you don't knock other things over, but I'm just trying to be a little careful about it and patient with it, and then it should stick pretty well. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see, I'm just testing some of the previously stuck ones to make sure that they really did stick. Also, before we forget, don't forget that there will be another session in February. I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head. I'm sure Claire might have that though.
February 6th at 10 a.m. and it'll be the same Zoom link. We decided to do registration through Zoom this time, so that way you get the link automatically sent to you, and it'll, I think, be valid for the rest of the dates for this winter spring season. We're not entirely sure what project we're doing yet, but we will send you all an email and let you know. Again, it'll just be, you know, sort of regular household supplies or sort of these more common art supplies.
Absolutely.
Yes, within the next couple weeks, we'll let you know what the project will be.
Yes. Does anyone have a status update on how their project is going or wants to share anything? I know we only have about 10 minutes left, but just figured I'd ask. Okay, so once I finish gluing these 3 green pieces, I think I'm going to take a little break from gluing and try to roll up some more pieces for the rest of my turtle. Ooh, I love the colors you used.
That's so excellent.
Agreed. I
Very
usually
nice.
lean more towards colorful things, and I think the colors you chose are absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, do you want to tell us about it? You also don't have to.
I used to like making, well, I just made an air balloon and then I just asked my mom to make the rolls and then we just covered it all. But I'm still going.
Perfect. Well, it looks
It's
great
a time-intensive project, so I understand why you're still going. I think that's wonderful, and I think it looks great so far.
Excellent job.
Okay, I'm gonna roll up a few more pieces.
And moms are really helpful when it comes to that.
They are. They are.
They're down for anything. Dads too, I suppose.
Well,
Mine
Claire,
was.
your dad helped you, exactly.
It's true.
So.
My mom wanted to know if we're done, do we send a picture to you?
Yes, you can absolutely send me a picture. I'm going to put my email in the chat for you. And yes, I definitely want to see a picture. That would be so cool. All right, there you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to see if I can maybe at least finish part of my turtle by the time our class is over for today. But I've really had fun. I really enjoy doing these. I think they're very peaceful. I do admit though, at the beginning, I was a little frustrated when I first tried out rolling these up because it was such a long and tedious process, but I've really come to enjoy it. think one was actually missing from this, so I'm actually gonna leave that one there. As you can see, some of the first pieces that I glued down right over here, the glue is starting to dry and it's drying clear. So hopefully that'll continue. Oops.
I just wanted to say thank you, and we're going to sign off, but thank you so much to both of you.
Oh,
Of
you're
course,
welcome.
thank you so much for joining us and Happy New Year.
Yes,
Yes.
Happy New Year. Thanks for coming, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Happy New Year. I already put February 6th in our calendar.
Oh,
Awesome.
wonderful.
We will see you
And
then.
it was really nice to see you. Have a good day.
Yes, you too.
guys
Take
too.
care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See, oh, this one's coming apart.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that looks so nice.
Those are awesome. How did you get those petal shapes? That's amazing.
Agreed.
We got the shapes. We got one of these.
Oh, you're into the paper quilling.
That is so cool.
Yeah, you can make
Also make a lot. Wow. Did you have a good time making this project?
Yeah, we tried it for my birthday card for my dad because today is his birthday.
Oh,
wow.
Very cool. Well, happy birthday, Dad. And you did a great job. Thanks for joining
Yes, and
us
thank you
today.
for sharing.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye. Thank you so much. Okay. So I'm going to glue some of the last little pieces of my turtle here.
Sounds good.
Oh, this one isn't glued down, is he? Okay. Oh,
And those cool petal shapes, those came from pinching the sides of the spirals.
Oh, thank you
that's
for
neat.
telling us.
We'll have to give that a shot sometime.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for the technique info.
Yes, and thank you for showing us what you made. I loved it. I think I'm almost done, and I know our time is running out, so I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone who came out today and joined us. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you enjoyed our project.
Yes, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. it was a nice way to kick off the new year. And maybe one day we'll be able to make art together at the museum again.
Together.
Right, together, actually. But you know, in the meantime, this is a nice way to connect, a nice way to sort of kick off the weekend. And we hope to see you again February 6th, or you know, at any of the upcoming Art Together sessions. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope you had fun.
Yes, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Year.